At first, that was a place where a bunch of autistic people who were early members of Autism Network International met each other. As more and more parents began joining, and some professionals, mostly parents, it began being taken over by this whiny parent culture, where everybody wanted to exchange pity parties about how terrible their lives were and what they were trying to do to fix or to cure their children, and they wanted to use autistic people as resources to help them with their children. So they didn't care what we wanted. They didn't care what we wanted to talk about, so if we would start having perseverative conversations about square dancing llamas, we would be told that we were wasting bandwidth. They didn't care what we wanted to do in our lives, and so we decided that it was time for us to have our own online forum.
And it was, in a way, Electra herself who helped me, because she kept saying, look, this is me, this is how I am, I'm always going to be autistic. For example, she talks to herself, and I used to say, well, you can't, people will think you're nutty, etc. But then she explained to me that it's a kind of need, it's like a stimming. It's her way of stimming. Some people rock, some people twist something, some people play with something. They flap their hands. Not to her, it's verbal, it's a verbal stimming.
I gave you my heart, what did you do? Spit on it, made it break in two.
One of the things that's quite important is that people that have very, very severely disabled children who are non-verbal, etc., and who are in pain and suffer auditory things and actually can't communicate are quite different to my son, for instance, who's actually quite high functioning. So I think that it is a spectrum disorder, and there are very great differences between the people on it.
When you give all these negative views that it's always this terrifying thing that's never feel out, it's going to lead to parents not wanting any autistic child, no matter.
I don't feel like that, and I have an autistic son, so I don't think you can say that everybody feels like that.
It's good what these researchers are doing. There's research going on all over the place. I've taken part in interviews like the one I'm having now. Might be asked to recognise faces, and there's a word game, you have to recognise as many words as possible.
And what will that lead to? Why do you need to find the causes?
Well, so that you can actually help people and you understand them better.
Yeah, but
that's the real aim.
If the cause is genetic, what is that going to lead to? It's going to lead to your prenatal test.
Well, can I give you an example? Educational approaches. Nobody really knows, there's not been sufficient research done on how people are educated and how, the ways in which you educate them to know why things work and why things don't work. So most parents who have a child that's diagnosed don't know what to do.
I grew up with a ghost, and the ghost was the normal child that my parents wanted and that they believed was hiding inside of me. And so everything that they did to try to save their child from this tragedy of autism was actually aimed at destroying the person that I was, because there wasn't any hidden neurotypical child in there. I was the only child there was, and I grew up acutely aware that they hated me and wanted to destroy me.
Well, I think the emphasis is all wrong. Well, instead of trying to bring out the positives and only working on the negatives, we want to eliminate the whole thing. What they should really be focusing on is how you can solve the comorbids, which we're not opposed to at all. I would happily donate everything I've got to something that was purely focusing on the comorbids. What is a problem is when they try to cure the core itself of autism. Because there's so many differences in the way the autistic brain is wired. It's not just, as some people have suggested, it's not just generic brain damage, it's actually an entirely different wiring. 90% of fetuses with Down syndrome are aborted now. Once there's a prenatal test for autism, I think the same thing will happen. And over a few generations, it'll basically be wiped out. And that won't just be people who are disabled, that will be the entire spectrum.
It might be going towards a cure, who knows, maybe not in my lifetime, but maybe in the next 50 years.
Would you like to take a pill that would cure everything for you, your autism?
I would, yeah.
I gave you my heart, you destroy it, crushing my confidence bit by bit. I'm angry now and I'll fight back. I'm mad and I'll attack. I'm sitting back smoking crack, cause all I live for is cursing at life and rap. Because this world to me is one big Wednesday caravan, and all I want from you is for you to love me back. Love thy neighbour is what this world lacks. My psychotherapist gave me the miss when he had kids that shouldn't exist. Didn't want no close friendship, made me flip, made me jealous. Turned out to be Freudian. Where's justice? I'm sick of this.
So slowly, it was almost she who helped me. She guided me more because she read all the books. She said, yes, this is me. This is how I think. And also because she does have some very creative sides. And her autism seems to help her be quite focused in some areas. So, I mean, I began to see there are some advantages to it. And she can sometimes come up with such surprisingly, mind-blowingly direct things.
And there was one part of the play where I really got to get things off my chest by, I got to rip up Prospero's spell book and throw the pages about and say, I can't understand this stupid thing! Well, and that really helped me in the way that change really gets to me and upsets me. So that insecurity became one with Caliban's insecurity where he can't understand the spell book. And I was like, I can't understand this stupid thing! And I threw it on the floor and people found it funny also, and I enjoyed entertaining people as well as healing myself through that.
But I remember that was a very scary moment for me when I realized I had sat in the car for about 15 minutes and actually contemplated putting Jodie in the car and driving off the George Washington Bridge, and that would be preferable to having to put her in one of these schools. And it's only because of Lauren, the fact that I have another child, that I probably didn't do it.
I found that really disturbing. I can't imagine any parent actually seriously thinking about that who really genuinely loves her child. I do find it really disturbing that someone can.